Hi, everyone. I'm Janet Nunn, and I'm here for the Foothills Art Center. I'm an instructor there, and we thought it would be great to have an opportunity to do some art. And we thought we would do a couple of little lessons. Hopefully, this is all working out and life is good, but we'll give it a couple of minutes to make sure everybody's going. But hang on just a minute. Let's see. Okay, we've got a couple of people watching. Mariposa's watching. Awesome. I love that. One thing that we're going to do once we get going here is I'm going to show you how to do some painting. You won't be watching me so much. You'll be watching my hands. And I'm just going to go step by step. I probably gave you some information online. Okay, so the Foothills Art Center's on there. Anne's there. We have a few people watching, so that will be good. So as long as we're live, then let's kind of get going. I have a couple little lessons that I'm going to do today, and we're going to probably be looking more at what I'm doing rather than my shining face there. So with that being said, we thought this would be just really fun. Let's see if that can work. All this technology that I have. Good. Is it working?
Why do you have your hand there? There you go. Now you're good.
Okay, I'm good now.
Kind of upside down. You're okay.
Do I need to change it?
Yeah.
Hang on.
No, you're okay. Put your hands there. Where are you going to face?
Okay, so the first thing I did, because we wanted people to be interactive with this, because we're bored. So I sent out a supply list, and I also sent out a lesson, just in case you want to keep up with us, and life is really good.
You're upside down.
I am upside down?
I can't tell.
Yes, I am up. No, I'm sideways. Hang on just a minute. Some technical difficulties here. I wish Larry Salas was here so he could help me. It would be great. How's that?
There you go. Much better.
Much better.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Can you see any of the comments?
What's that?
There's a lot. I have a lot going on. Okay, so now that I have myself sort of positioned, I wanted to get started. We are going to make these three little paintings. One is a beautiful mountain scene. Another one is this wonderful splat, twist, and turn flower. And the third one is this wonderful scene with trees and a little bit of snow. Hopefully, everybody can hear me a-okay, and we're ready to go. First thing I said on the supply list is we need some paper. And the paper that I'm using is a couple things that you might be able to have around the house. One is a note card. Another one is a piece of Fabriano Artistico 300-pound paper. Another one is just 140-pound Fabriano watercolor paper. So we have all those happening. And let's get started. First thing we want to do is we want to tape down all of our corners. So give yourself a couple minutes, get your piece of paper on a board and tape down all your corners. And maybe I can answer a few questions.
No questions.
Oh, I have lots over here.
They're not questions, though.
Okay, he says they're not questions, so that's good. If you have questions, we can do that. So let's just tape that down. I like to go edge to edge, all the way around. And I'm using Scotch tape, just like I would in class. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and do this all the way around. Hopefully you've got this done. But I found out it does take a little bit of time to do, so we'll get that done. And just so happens, after I've shown you this, I already have one done. So it makes it a little bit easier. Now, in this first one, we're going to do this wonderful spring flower. Done it a couple of times, and it's just kind of nice to do. This is my favorite way to paint. I call it splat, twist, and turn. It is so much fun. You need a piece of plastic wrap. Works great. This is your new brush. So you take the plastic wrap and you kind of fold it over to make a circle. You're going to make a nice big circle there. I'll bring that in a little bit. Mush it down just like that. Okay? So you see that. It is probably the shape. I'll come down a little bit. I want it to be a shape of a flower right in there.
Okay, someone's asking if they can use a plastic grocery bag.
Oh, plastic grocery bag. Someone asked if they could use a plastic grocery bag. Why not? That would be fine. The main thing is you want to get it flat and flattened down. I've never heard of the plastic grocery bag. That's a new one. Okay, guys, the next thing that I use these Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydrus watercolors. Now, some people will be using their regular paints, and that's fine. What you're going to have to do is you're going to be mixing, and you want to get enough that you can mix and have enough that the consistency will be such that you can make drops out of it. So, with that being said, I just had to move this around because I had it going the wrong way. If you think about a flower, you think about at the top of the flower, it's usually a little bit lighter, and it's medium in the middle and dark at the bottom. So with that, I'm going to put a few drops of Hansa Yellow Light at the top, just about 3. And then the next one, I'm going to use some gamboge. And I have this in my lesson. I might add a little color here and there, but I might switch up the color, and that's kind of fun for you guys to do too. And, top one was Hansa Yellow Light, middle was gamboge, the third one was Brilliant Cad Red, and then my favorite color is Quinacridone Magenta, so I've got to have that. And then last but not least, I want to get the dark down at the bottom to blend all these colors together. I'm going to use some Cobalt Violet, just about a drop or 2. How are we doing so far? Is everybody with me? Or you're just watching and will participate later? Any comments?
Nope, you're good.
Tip is my watching the screen for me. Some people might not have brushes, so if you have a tissue around, paper towel will work. I'm going to use this as a brush to wet my paper. So I'm going to come over here into my water, and I don't know if you can see that, might not be able to, but I'm going to make a spit wad, and I'm going to plop it right down there, and I'm going to turn it a little bit, and that is going to wet the paper. Now in watercolor, water is the catalyst that moves the paint. So we have our water. Now this is the best part. This is where we're going to take our little thing of paint, that's what they're already there, and you're going to splat it on that circle. You're going to twist it, and you're going to turn it. I'm going to twist it and turn it a couple times there. And then what happens is this all blends together. Then you take your finger. You might have to add a little water to it. And voila. you have a wonderful spring flower that is light in the top, has medium color, and it's all mixing together. It's just a fun way to paint. And yes, it's just wonderful. And that's what watercolor is all about, letting the water, the paint, and the paper all mix together. So this was our first one. I have 2 more to do, and hopefully you have done all these fun things along with me. If not, I'm sure you can watch it again. Any questions? We're still going good?
You're good.
I'm good? Okay, Tip says I'm good. The next thing we're going to do is, we're not going to use a brush again. We're going to use my next favorite tool. My family members travel a lot. So when they travel, they have these room keys that gets them into hotels. We also have credit cards. So this is what we're going to do next. We are going to use this credit card in order to make a kind of a different scene. And
Okay, wait a minute. Cheryl just asked a question. She had an extra blob on the side.
oh, she had an extra blob on the side. If you just take a little tissue and mop it up, that might help. Or what you can do is maybe make another 2 or 3 flowers. So I was going back to answer Cheryl's question. Good question. Okay. Masking tape. Now, if you have the small masking tape, you might need 2 pieces of this, but we are going to do a little bit of the large masking tape, and we need to have about the size of your paper. So if you have a bigger piece of paper, you're going to need a bigger piece of masking tape. What you're going to do now is you're going to take this masking tape, and this is where you just tear it. And as you tear it along, you'll get a ragged edge, and that's what we want. So I'm going to take this ragged edge and I put it down on the bottom of my paper. Oops. I might have to add another piece of tape just right there. So for those of you that have 2 pieces of tape, well, guess what? There you go. So see, I have this nice ragged edge, and this ragged edge will become my snow mound. And I want to save the white of the paper. You're learning all about watercolor because saving the white of the paper is so important. So everyone have the tape? We're taping away. It seems to go a little faster when I'm doing it without a lot of interaction, but guess what? You can always catch up as we go along. As I said earlier, water is our catalyst, and that's what moves everything around. And I use an oil mister. It works so good to give me water on my paper. You could use a brush, but the reason why I use this oil mister filled with water, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but I have these cool little places where the water did not stick, and I have dry spots. It is just the coolest thing. So I have that wet. I have my card. Next thing I need to do, I need to take a tray. And in my supply list, I said, if you don't have a tray, you can take a plate, a plastic plate, you can take a paper plate, and this is what we're going to use to put the paint on. So some of you might have a tray or something like that. So I'm going to take the tray, and I'm going to use a little bit of Hansa Yellow Light, but when I put it on, I'm going to put it on in a line. So for those of you that aren't using the Dr. Martens, if you just take a line of your paint and just put it out there like that, that will be really good. Might have to have a little bit of gamboge. Now this one, I'm going to use, that's phthalo blue. Looks like everything's dripping down the wrong way. Hopefully we'll be good. And another favorite color, quinacridone magenta. How could we go wrong with magenta? So I have my paint. I have my paper all wet. So what I'm going to start to do is I'm going to take this card, dip it in the blue, because I feel like making a sky first. So guess what? I'm just going to come right across there. And there you go, sky. Easy as pie. It takes more time to think about how to do these things than it does to paint them. But if you take classes at the Foothills Art Center, guess what? You're going to learn all these wonderful tricks because we have lots of wonderful instructors and lots of great people that can help us. Oh, you know what? I didn't get any green in there, but let's put some green in there. Sap green, phthalo green, either one of those. Got to have a green. What was I thinking? Okay. Now the credit card is great because you can go up and down. And when I go up and down, look at that. I can create evergreen trees. Now, we're in Colorado. Some of you guys aren't. And, oh my goodness, we have lots of snow and evergreen trees. And I think we're supposed to have snow tomorrow. I'm going to add a little bit more blue in there. Oh, I've got this nice dry line, and normally I would say, oh my gosh, I'll just have to wet it down, but it's such a cool effect, I just can't let it go. So here we go. I'm adding some of the yellow in there. And then adding some of the magenta. Just to give it to look like there is maybe some tree trunks coming through my line. There we go. Isn't that cool? We have evergreen trees. We have a sky and evergreen trees. It's just so much fun. So with that being said, the next thing we have to do is we're going to say that this is a snowbank. So we're going to release the snowbank by removing the tape, whoops, the masking tape. It looks like the Scotch tape is wanting to come off too, but you know, that's what happens. Ooh, that turned out fairly good. Okay. Now, we also want to create some shadows in the snow. We've got that beautiful sky. I have water here. Water is my friend. I'm going to take my finger, dip it in the water, and come right across here. And you can tell I already have paint on my finger. So just a few lines of water. Then I'm going to come back to that phthalo blue, and guess what? I'm just going to skip into the paint, and look at that. Isn't that great? I just love it when a plan turns out. And I'm just taking a little bit of the excess water off and moving it around. And so far, things are going pretty darn good. This is really nice the way that's working out. Now, the third little lesson is a combination of this one, and it's just non-stop painting.
Wait a minute, any questions on that one?
Oh, yes, good idea. Tip said, do we have any questions on this one before I go to the last one?
Do a close-up of the piece.
Oh.
Just bring it up towards the camera. The tree one you just did.
How's that? Is that good?
Hang on. Hasn't shown up here yet. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Perfect. Did you guys see the close-up of this one? It's pretty bold, too.
Hang on, you're a little bit of a delay here.
Okay.
Compliments to your assistant.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's doing a great job. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Any other questions on this one?
No, not yet.
Okay. The other cool part, you know, when you look at it really close, look at this, the way the water and the paint all mixed together. This is just totally what watercolor is all about. This is just beautiful. I love that. Okay. let's do the last one. And the last one is very similar to this one, but we're going to go up and down. And it has snow and water at the bottom. Could be a mountain back there. It could be a lot of stuff. You know, these are just fun pieces of paintings that you can do at home just to enjoy and take your frustrations out on paper and paint. So I'm going to get my lines going one more time. It looks like I need to reload. So let's get a little bit more blue here. And I'm just making a line of it. I don't know if you can see that. And it looks like I used a little, whoops, that I've got it. See if you have a steady surface. There we go. Let's see if that works. Okay. I'm going to come up here. That's my quinacridone magenta. This is my sap green. On this one I added ultramarine, which is a very beautiful blue that has a lot of purple in it. And I think I have enough yellow, hence the yellow light, but we'll add a little bit more just to be on the safe side. So I have all these lines ready to go. Now this is going to be my third guy right here. Just want to make sure I don't do too much to get things wet. So I'm just going to cover this one up. And I'm going to spray this guy pretty good. There. Just like I did before. Let's make a little bit of a sky. And then when I come down to the bottom third, I'm just going to go and move my card across horizontally and let all the water just kind of flow there. Looks like I got a lot. You can always mop up some little parts down there. There we go. Look at that. It's just bleeding all together. And with watercolor, you have to go with the flow. You just, you know, sometimes you get things that you're not even thinking about, and they're bonuses. So I'm just using my credit card here and just going up and down to make those wonderful trees. Look at those trees. Ah, they're just so good. Then it looks like my ultramarine has mixed in just a little bit with the quinacridone magenta, but that's okay. We're kind of making a little bit here and here and here. And again, I have the trees that I had before. This time I didn't use resist like I used for the trees down below, but I have this guy. He's so cool. Now up here we have a little bit of beetle kill, so I got to add some beetle kill in there. And a little bit more of this. And a few more lines down here, just to get the dark in there, just to let it start running. And there you go. That was pretty darn easy. So we have 1, 2, 3 paintings, but we're just going to finish them off just a little bit more. It's hard to tell. This one's still a little wet, but I can work around it. You might have to wait for yours to dry out. But the last thing I want to do is to create a frame around it. Right now, you know, going to the frame store and just running down there to get a frame is just not working. So we kind of have to improvise and do our own stuff. So with that being said, I'm just going to pull this apart like this. And now, one thing I said is to have a ruler and a Sharpie. Now, I made this one into a note card. During the fall at Foothills, we have a lot of note card classes, and they're really fun because you can make a note card to give to somebody, and you can share a little bit of yourself with other people. Now, Mother's Day is coming up. Some of you guys have mothers, some of you guys have friends. We're stuck in here. This is a perfect time to share a little bit of your art with someone else. So I'm just gonna draw a line. I'm gonna stop at the stem, and then I'm just gonna draw another line here that goes right through the stem. I'm turning my page over just a little bit, and I'm gonna go from this edge, whoops, don't move on me, stay. I'm gonna go from here to here. And then I'm going to come right across here, hopefully. And one more line. We'll connect down below. Now, you can sign it. And you have a wonderful card. It's just something you can give to someone. You can keep it for yourself, but it's all framed, ready to grow. Now, I also did one like this, where I took a quote from John Lennon, "Love is the flower you've got to let grow." And I put John Lennon's name down there. I went to Brainy Quotes, which is an app that you can go to that has lots of people's quotes. And I had a lot of space here that I could put that in there. So these are just some of the flowers that I've done.
They're all backwards.
Am I all backwards now?
Yeah, that's all right. You let it roll.
Am I backwards now? How did I go backwards?
Just when you picked them up. Someone's asking if they can see this as a replay on YouTube or something. I think Anna's doing that, is that right?
Anna, are you saving this so that people can replay it when they come to the Foothills,
Or go to the site?
when they go to the website? We'll wait for her answer. Because that would be really helpful,
It
because,
says yes, you'll be able to watch it after our Facebook page, on our Facebook page.
okay, yes, you will be able to watch this, share it on their Facebook page.
And they'll also be uploading to YouTube.
Oh, we'll be uploading to YouTube too. That makes it nice. So the other cool part is, hopefully if all this stuff gets going, you can sign up for a class and take it in person. We're even working on maybe doing some classes online because we got to keep classes going. We got to keep you guys involved. So I think this would be really a nice thing to do. So that's why we kind of thought this would be good. So let me finish this little guy. We might have to wait on that last one. But in the meantime, guess what? You can just pull out the paints and start painting on your own. It's really a lot of fun. If you have somebody else in the house, instead of playing cards, break out the paints and start painting. I mean, just think of all the splat, twist, and turn flowers you could make. And you could start on your Christmas cards. Who knows, You could spend all this time making your holiday cards. Look at that. That would be a great holiday card. So sign it. You could even put a little saying on there. If it was a card, it would be really good. It'd be very easy to do. So with that being said, I wanted to say thank you for coming, and go to the Foothills Art Center and see what new things that we're going to be thinking about each week. It's going to be a lot of fun, and who knows, maybe we will have to do it again. There are so many little lessons that we can do, and I think it would be really a lot of fun. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Foothills, and we will see you again.